Hey y'all, welcome back to Bible Fun with the Duns. Today we're in Genesis chapter number 22. So let's get started. Oh, and I'm getting us started. Okay, so just a quick overview of the chapter. We see Abraham, and he's taking his one and only son that God promised him. He's taking him on a little family trip together. Little father-son time, little bonding experience. Let's just say it was pretty interesting for the both of them.
I'll say.
Yeah. So they were going up to the mountain to make a sacrifice to God, because that's what they do to make atonement for their sins in the Old Testament. That's the Old Covenant. And then we see later on Jesus makes the New Covenant, and we're gonna also look at the parallels between this story and Jesus as well. Yeah, awesome stuff. So anyway, they go up on the mountain, and Isaac, he's carrying all the stuff, right? He's carrying the knife, he's carrying the wood. That's important. He's carrying the wood up the mountain, and he looks at his dad. He's like, "Hold on, Dad," because he probably thinks his dad's like kind of getting like he's old.
He's real old.
Real old.
But Isaac's not young either. He's a grown man at this point too.
Right. And so I think I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. But I think kind of in the same way, when you see these older people, they don't know how to work stuff, right? They need you to come fix their TV remote.
You were gonna make fun of us.
I was.
Were you gonna make fun of me?
They need you to fix their TV remote. Why is my TV not working? Turns out the batteries are in upside down, or they just need new batteries.
Shush your face.
I'm kind of wondering if it's this kind of thing.
You're gonna be old one day. Just remember.
I am, and my kids are gonna make fun of me too, so it's okay. And
Thanks.
I didn't make fun of you. You brought it on yourself.
I just knew you.
Yeah. So anyway, he looks at his dad, and he's probably trying to be respectful at this point. But if you're gonna make a sacrifice, you kind of need something to sacrifice. So he's like, "Dad, I think we forgot the lamb." But then Abraham, I love his faith when he says this. He's like, "The Lord will provide a lamb for us, son." And Isaac, of course, he's thinking the same kind of thing, right? Dang, Dad must have a lot of faith. But what he doesn't know is he's the lamb, right? And so previously when we've talked about this, isn't there a specific detail in there that kind of hints to us that Abraham believed that God was gonna raise Isaac?
It's not in this passage, but in Hebrews, the Hall of Faith, Hebrew 11, it gives us more insight to what Abraham was thinking. And at this point, God has not raised someone from the dead. But at this point, he truly thought that he would have to kill his son. But he had so much faith in God that he thought his son still wouldn't die, because God keeps promising you're going to have all these generations come through you. And this is the one
the kid's got to come from somewhere.
Right.
So, yeah, just really amazing stuff. And there's so much we could go into detail on just between this, the rest of the New Testament, and Hebrews. But kind of what we're really going to get into is just the symbolism of all this, because they're going up on the mountain, and Isaac's thinking that God's gonna provide a literal lamb. Abraham is thinking his son is the sacrifice, but he also has so much faith in God and his promises that he's made that he believes God is going to work a miracle as he does. Just really, really incredible to take a look at these people, and like they're real people with real thoughts. And so I think it's cool when you look at the Bible kind of in that way. You really see the depth of it. Even though there's already so much depth on the surface, there's even more.
And it's still literature. Like, if you pay attention to the words, especially, I mean, it has to be every chapter, but in this chapter, I see it so clearly. In verse 2, and then he says it again later on in the same chapter. He says, take your only son. Take your son, your only son. Well, we know this isn't truly his only son. He has another son through Hagar.
Ishmael.
His name is Ishmael. And, but this phrase, your only son, think of your one and only son. This is a phrase that's actually pointing us to something beyond just this story. It's pointing us to Jesus, is what we know, because 2025 now. Another thing that I see in here, pay attention to the words, verse 8, Abraham tells, when Isaac asks, where's the sacrifice? Abraham says, God will provide a lamb. But then when it comes down to it, God provides what?
A ram.
A ram. And so it's like, hold on, did God get this wrong? Did he say something? He provided a ram in this situation, but what's he going to do years later? He's going to provide the lamb. Mm-hmm. And I think it's beautiful that we see here, Scripture tells us a couple of times that the angel of the Lord, remember, the angel of the Lord, whenever the angel of the Lord is listed, this is Jesus. This is God the Son. And so right now, the angel of the Lord is speaking to Abraham from heaven. But sometimes the angel of the Lord appears to people on earth, and that would be when God shows up to people, it's a theophany. But when it's specifically God the Son, and he shows, that's right, when he shows up. So the other day, my last video I filmed, I think it was chapters 18 and 19. Yeah. It was about God inviting Abraham to ask questions, to wrestle with him. And I think there's a question we can ask here when we see something about God that we're like, God is telling Abraham to sacrifice his son. Well, everything we know of God and everything after this point is Yahweh, the one true God, is not a God of human sacrifice. He does not delight in human sacrifice. The Bible tells us that over and over again about his character. And so when you see something, bless you, about God that is different like that, you can, like when the phrase stands out, your only son, and that's not really the case. That stands out for a reason. When God is asking you to do something that seems out of his character, you can ask him, you can wrestle with him and ask God about this situation. But I think it's so beautiful. Abraham, the Bible doesn't even tell us that. Maybe because Abraham had already wrestled with God. He already had this faith. Remember, just a few chapters ago, God chose Abraham because of his faith. He counted his faith to him as righteousness. That is us seeing salvation through faith, just like the Bible tells us. And sure enough, God's going to provide a sacrifice. The ultimate plan, because it isn't in God's character for us to sacrifice our children like the pagan gods require. That is not what God ultimately wanted. In fact, the opposite is how God is. He provides his son in our place, in Isaac's place. And then I just want to point out, this has got to be a huge mountaintop moment, Ebenezer stone moment for Abraham. So much so that he calls the mountain Jehovah Jireh, the God will provide. That is one of the many, many names of God. But another thing that's really cool about this mountain, this is Mount Moriah. We have a lot of reason to believe, and I've been there, and I'm going to take you one day. We have a lot of reason to believe that this is the exact same place that Solomon's going to build his temple. And this is the same mountain range, the same stretch of mountains where God does provide the lamb, where Jesus will die on the cross. And so it's pretty, like, God is the best author. I mean,
I know. You can call it, like, some of this, you can call it semantics all you want. I call it poetic. Like, this is amazing.
Absolutely. The best author. So, there's a lot to take away from this chapter.
There really is.
This is a lot less about Abraham and Isaac and so much more about God the Father and his son and his sacrifice for us. This is the gospel right here in Genesis 22. All right.
I mean, I have more, but I think you covered it all.
Okay.
You really did.
I didn't know you're still talking.
I was,
I got it.
It's okay.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us. They're going to be mad now. Jenny, don't cut Jax off.
No, like, you pretty much hit all my points.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.